Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. I'm glad to present the committee with the fiscal year 2015 Energy and Water Bill, but before I go into the recommendations, I'd like to thank Chairman Rogers and Ranking Member Loy for their hard work to get us back to regular order. I think it says a lot about the Appropriations Committee that we're actually doing our job and trying to get back to regular order. I'd also like to thank my ranking member, Ms. Capter, for her help in putting together this recommendation. She's a passionate advocate for her constituents and has a keen interest in the issues overseen by our subcommittee. This recommendation is better because of her contributions, and I thank you for that. And also all of the members of the subcommittee. One of the members of our subcommittee, Mr. Nunley, as you all know, is in recovery, and as I understand, the latest word is that he's doing well, so we wish him the best. But all the members of the subcommittee contributed to this, and also the staff on both sides of the aisle has taken a great deal of time and effort to try to address the concerns of all members of not only the Appropriations Committee, but of Congress in general. The legislation before you totals $34.01 billion for the activities of the Department of Energy, Army Corps of Engineers, Bureau of Reclamation, and other agencies under our jurisdiction. This is a $50 million reduction from last year's funding levels. This is a strong bill and one which recognizes the importance of investing in the nation's infrastructure and national defense. Importantly, this recommendation overcomes the budget request proposed to cut nearly $1 billion of critical programs for the Army Corps of Engineers. The request would have led to economic disruptions at as our ports and waterways filled in, and would have left our communities and businesses vulnerable to flooding. Instead, this recommendation recognizes the critical work of the Corps and provides $5.492 billion for those activities, $959 million above the request and $25 million above last year. Somebody was competing. More than $1.1 billion is provided for the activities supported by the Harbor Maintenance Trust Fund, an increase of at least $185 million over the budget request. Over $916 million is provided to support projects either inadequately funded or not funded at all in the budget request, but only after the administration reports to us on how they will prioritize these funds. The recommendation takes a strong stand against government overreach by prohibiting changes to the definitions of waters of the United States and fill materials, and I'm sure we'll have an opportunity to debate those once again in this subcommittee, or in this full committee. The recommendation also provides $11.361 billion for the Atomic Security, Nonproliferation, and Naval Reactors programs for the National Nuclear Security Administration, a $154 million increase from fiscal year 2014. Unfortunately, given the limitations posed by the Ryan Murray budget deal, we were not able to fully fund all of our priorities. We were, however, able to substantially improve upon the President's request. The nuclear weapons program run by the Department of Energy receives $8.2 billion, an increase of $423 million from last year. All critical life extension programs are fully funded, and infrastructure projects needed to sustain our national defense are fully supported. Our non-proliferation programs are funded at $1.55 billion, the same as the request. This is a significant cut, nearly $400 million from last year, which we could not make up. However, within this figure, we made changes to move nearly $250 million in stalled funding to projects that will actively help protect against proliferation in fiscal year 2015. Of this, $100 million is from projects in the budget request that would take place in Russia. To be clear, there is no new funding in this recommendation for activities in Russia. There is also a requirement that before the Secretary of Energy funds any activities in Russia, he must certify that the activity is in our national security interests. Colleagues, many of us have been reminded by Russia's actions that the end of the Cold War has not brought stability to Eastern Europe. Our NATO colleagues and others who live under the security umbrella that our nuclear arsenal provides are nervous, and now is not the time to imply in any way that our nuclear weapons are not needed. We've also seen once again how energy can both be used as a geostrategic weapon and be affected by geostrategic actions. Russia has used Ukraine's reliance on natural gas to put pressure on its new leadership, and the movements by insurgents to occupy Iraq threaten to drive oil prices through the roof. That's why this bill makes strong, balanced investments in our energy sector to ensure that our constituents continue to have reliable, affordable energy. Fossil energy, which provides more than 71% of our electricity production in 2013, receives $593 million, a $31 million increase above fiscal year 2014. Nuclear energy is increased by $10 million above last year. Energy efficiency and renewable energy are slightly reduced by $113 million from last year. This balanced investment prioritizes improvements to energy sources that we rely upon today while making longer-term investments in alternative energy sources. My colleagues, I'll stop here. However, I fully expect that today and on the floor, many of us will have further contributions to propose to this bill, and I look forward to these discussions. I thank you, and thank you, Mr. Chairman.